Marnie Solanius, BA Manager, Resource Development and Public Relations for Community Living Oshawa, Clarington. Marnie.
You're on mute.
I never quite hit the button the right way. It's great to be back again. It's great to see some familiar faces and wonderful to hear that you're growing your numbers. Volunteerism across Durham Region is something I think that we need to continue to pump out as any organization, and volunteers are kind of the lifeblood of what we do for all of us. So it's very important, and also being able to give is extremely important. So thank you for having me here today and being able to give you the opportunity to learn a little more about Community Living Oshawa, Clarington. And thank you also to Patricia and Sally for the nomination today. So for nearly 70 years, Community Living Oshawa, Clarington has been providing services and supports for children and adults with developmental disabilities, along with their families within our community. The organization became as a small group initially, although it was almost 70 years ago, and it was a group made up of families who wanted to find opportunities for their developmentally disabled family members who weren't necessarily welcomed or accepted within the community. Since that time, we've grown to serve more than 500 people and their families, and we provide opportunities for things like supportive housing, employment training and job placement, activity programs, skills development, volunteer opportunities, mentoring, independent living, and we also do a lot of advocacy within the region and with the government. But I'm coming to you today kind of with a more specific need for a specific group of people. So everyone deserves a safe and clean place to live. And we all know right now housing insecurity is a massive issue in Durham Region. And it's the same for people with developmental disabilities. So recently our organization identified 12 people who have developmental disabilities who were living in an apartment building that was not being maintained to a safe standard and unfortunately was filled with all kinds of critters such as bed bugs, roaches, rats, you name it. We made a valiant attempt to work with the landlords of that building to try and remedy some of the issues. And unfortunately, we had very little response in terms of remediation from them. So CLOC moved the people out of those apartments and into temporary housing. And we are gradually finding spaces in a new building that's much better maintained and critter-free, knock on wood. So the rent for these new apartments is more than 2 times what it was in the previous building, and we have been able to successfully advocate for the people to receive assistance from the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services to cover the difference in the rent for the next 6 months while we search for a more permanent housing solution for them. But the ministry will just be covering the rent, and they're not taking into account the loss of the personal items that people were unable to take with them due to the infestations, because obviously they don't want to take the infestation from their current living situation to a new one. So we're talking about things like clothing and furniture. And so we're currently looking to our community for support in order to assist with funding or donations to help these 12 people replace their much needed items for their new homes. We're looking for mattresses, we're looking for furniture, we're looking for couches, we're looking for clothing. And everybody deserves to have some dignity in where they live and how they look and how they appear. And right now, these people are struggling with that because they're not in a fully permanent place at the moment. They will be soon. And they don't have a lot of the things that they've lived with for many years and that they've adjusted to having in their environments because we just couldn't move it. So we're hoping that we can count on organizations like 100 Women to provide some support to us, whether it's financial or whether it's donations or in kind, to help these people to replace their items that are no longer useful to them. So that's really all I'm going to say to you tonight. I think I've given a pretty good outline of what we do previously, and you know, we do always appreciate the chance to come out and talk to people and share a little bit of what we do. We do so many things on a broader level, but having a specific need to bring to you tonight of something that's happening right now is very important, and we really hope that we can rely on you for your support.
Thank you, Marnie.
That's it.